welcome and welcome back to my channel. My name is Brianna, owner of Mystical Manuscripts, where we talk about spirituality and astrology and all things of that nature. And if you like that kind of content, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Now today we are going to be talking about our full moon in Aries in October. Our full moon in Aries is going to be happening on October 17th. So full moons are always times for completion, revelations, and things kind of coming to an end. You realizing certain patterns that are not working for you and you actually being pushed in order to solve them. Now, it being in Aries, this is likely to be a very, very strong kind of placement. So Aries is a fire sign. It's a very childish sign. It's a very passionate sign. Whenever you think of Aries, think of that very fiery child that always wants to do 18 million things at once. It could be kind of impatient. It could be kind of stubborn, but they just are so kind of happy to like be alive. They want to do everything. They want to be in everything. With this full moon, you might be in tune to want to learn some more things about what your childhood looked like, what your childhood trauma looks like, and what your inner child looks like for you. It may also be testing you in order to figure out your temper. Alright, this time in Aries, Aries is a very short-tempered sign. So when we have this full moon energy, we are likely to get a lot of temper issues from everyone around us, okay? So now let's talk about some transits during this full moon. So the first transit we have is Jupiter is going to be squaring Neptune. So our successes are not going to be aligning with our dreams. It may feel like we're working really hard, but we might not be working towards our purpose, or the goals in which we are working for might be a little muddled. So watch out for that. Venus is also going to be opposing Uranus. So our love planet of beauty and like money are going to be opposing Uranus. So what this could look like is unexpected money issues, unexpected payments that you have to pay others, unexpected changes in your relationships. So watch out for that. Mercury is going to be trine Saturn, so the way that we communicate is actually going to be helping us navigate our challenges, so that is really good. You know, be sure that during this time you are communicating as, you know, transparent as possible, as it's really going to help you with your challenges, okay? And lastly, Chiron is going to be squaring Mars. Now this is something that we really have to look out for, as our asteroid of healing, Chiron, is going to be squaring our planet of aggression, which Aries is ruled by Mars, so this is also just even more fuel to the fire. How you're healing may be rapid during this time. So because Mars is a very passionate sign, you know, it's a very angry, aggressive sign, it may be making your healing steps go a little bit backwards, right? Some things may be popping up or happening that is making you question, did you really heal this area of your life? I don't know, because it seems like you're getting pretty triggered by it, okay? So watch out for that. Make sure during this time that you are watching your temper. And remember to also embrace the positive qualities of Aries as well. So for our full moon journal questions, number 1, how can I be more emotionally intelligent and understanding? Okay, very key for these energies that are going to be really testing your patience. What is something that you are having a hard time healing, especially with the Chiron square Mars? What is that thing that you keep going back to that you have a hard time healing? Okay. And lastly, are my relationships helping me or harming me? As Venus is opposing Uranus, that energy is supposed to be breaking you free. Okay. So therefore, if it's breaking you free, is it breaking you free from that relationship or just an aspect of that relationship? Okay. Because that's very important, right? So, you know, analyze, is this relationship helping me or harming me? Okay, so now let's get into it by your rising sign. For Aries rising, you're seeing this full moon in your first house. Your first house of self-expression, your first house of identity, your ego, etc., etc. something new, fiery passion is going to be revealed to you in your first house. Maybe you're going to find out that you actually have a passion for this rather than that. With this first house energy, it can really be you're changing your identity in some way that aligns more with maybe something that you like to do as a child. For Pisces Rising, we are seeing this energy in our second house. So this full moon in Aries bringing brought to his attention, you may be spending a little bit more money at this time. You may be spending more money on hobbies. You may be spending more money on things that you really, really, truly enjoy. But just be careful not to spend too much money during this time. So for our Aquarius risings, you're seeing this in your third house of communication, siblings, and short-term travel. So what this could look like is a little bit more arguments with siblings. It can look like issues when it comes to communication. You may be coming off a little bit more aggressive than usual. And travel may be happening more frequently, but it's not something that you necessarily enjoy. It could be going back to a childhood home. It could be going to some place that you enjoyed as a kid, but it may feel a lot like very anger inducing for you during these travels. So watch out for that. For Capricorn risings, you're seeing this in your fourth house of home and the mother. So during this time, like, be careful of arguments with your family. Be careful of arguments with your mother. A lot of issues as you were a kid might be brought up. I keep bringing that up just because that's kind of the nature of this moon inner child healing. So just be very, very careful about like what topics are being brought up, because for you it may very much be, you never did this when I was a kid, you never acted this way, and you're acting this way now, like why are you being so different? So be very careful of that very impatient kind of energy with that. So for Sagittarius risings, you're seeing this energy in your fifth house of creativity and children. Full moon in Aries here could look like for you children around you being a little bit more aggravating than usual. They may have a lot more energy than usual. They may be doing too much than usual because of Aries energy passing this house for you. It can also look like you being more creative. You may have that very childlike, imaginative nature for your creativity. You may be wanting to do more art. You may be connecting more with the art that you like to do as a kid. Be careful though, as this energy could also be impatient too, so you may also be more frustrated with the children in your life and frustrated with your creative process. So for Scorpio risings, you're seeing this in the sixth house. So what this could look like is work and routines being a little bit more chaotic than usual. Maybe some issues at work may be a little bit touchy, and maybe specifically touching on traumas that you had in the past. It can also look like people at work are not necessarily communicating with you properly. There may be a little bit more angry energy for you during this time, unfortunately. For Libra risings, this is going to be in the relationships, marriage house of the seventh house. So this can maybe look like some arguments with some partners. It can look like some tension with partnerships and business partnerships. I think also too, this energy can also be people not taking you seriously in relationships, not taking each other seriously, not taking business partners seriously, so watch out for that. For Virgo risings, you're seeing this in your eighth house of intimacy, inheritance, and transformation. So what this can look like for you is unfortunately more change, okay? More change. This could be to embrace yourself, embrace your inner child. Maybe there's some trauma that you kind of have to dig up and kind of deal with. It can also really look like you getting some type of inheritance or some type of money from a relative or somebody who's older than you in your family, really coming around to help you out. The changes here can also be in regards to your creativities and your hobbies, the things that you like to do on a day-to-day basis, okay? So this seems like a okay transit for you. Just be mindful that some transformation and changes are going to be happening regarding in the themes of Aries. So when it comes to anger, and this can also look like you dealing with your anger issues as well, okay? So for Leo risings, this is happening in the 9th house of philosophy, travel, and higher education. When we have our full moon in Aries here, we may be so inspired to do more philosophy, be more educated, and want to travel more. Be careful though, because if we're not actually planning and we're just caught up in that Aries energy, we may experience some losses, okay? So just be careful as you are going through this full moon to make sure that you're planning those things out. Otherwise, it could be a really good transit for you, Leo risings. For Cancer risings, is going to be in the 10th house of career and reputation. With our Aries placement here, it can look like being a little bit more aggressive in your reputation, and you might actually have to be, right? So with Aries risings, you having Leo in this house, you may be very sensitive when it comes to work, and not necessarily pushing yourself. This transit will allow you to kind of tap into that Aries energy, push yourself, and be more passionate when it comes to your career, okay? So for our Gemini risings, this is going to be in our house of friendships and humanitarian pursuits. So while Aries is in this house, social change and justice might actually really piss you off during this time. Like you may be a lot more triggered by seeing charity posts on Instagram or like bad things happening in the world. It's likely to anger you so much that you might want to do something about it or donate to a cause. On the other hand, it can also look like issues and infighting with friends, so be careful with that. And it can also look like as well on the positive spin of you wanting to hang out with your friends and you and your friends really clicking on a deeper level. Like it may look like you and your friends like giggling or just doing very childlike things and having a good time, okay? And lastly, for Taurus risings, this is going to be in our 12th house of healing, fears, and the subconscious. So when Aries is passing through this house of full moon, you may learn something new about what your idea of the afterlife is. That's kind of what I'm getting from Spirit. It's understanding your subconscious and then figuring out like what that means for you. And because it's in Aries, you're going to be very passionate about learning more about the subconscious, learning more about the afterlife and spirituality as a whole. I think it's very important though to keep in mind that it doesn't turn into like an anger or impatience as you are, kind of digging in your own subconscious. You want to make sure you're not digging in other people's subconscious as well. This placement can make you want to self-diagnose people and like want to help other people. So just be careful that you're not projecting your issues onto others, okay? So that is it for the 12 rising signs. If you like this video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Good luck during this full moon. Please remember to journal and meditate, and I'll see you next time. Bye.